Just want to talk a little bit about a little bit more about Chapter 4, if I can get that out of my mouth. Um, I mentioned last time that every chapter from 3 going forward has an Excel that goes with it, and they're always found in our class under resources on the main page. You'll find these for every chapter along with the PowerPoints. I'd just like to show them to you. We'll use them for a few chapters. We'll actually do some number crunching with them. Chapter 4, the ratios are very easy to do. They're really not bad. As long as you know the formula for the ratio, you can find the inputs to calculate the formula. And so it's not as difficult of a chapter number crunching wise, but it's good to see some examples here that they used in the book. And the book usually has these same things in it. So the book used an example of Allied Foods, and it showed us a balance sheet and income statement for Allied Foods. And it gave us a common size financial. I just wanted to mention that. It's taking everything on the balance sheet side and dividing it by assets. So every line item divided by assets becomes a ratio. And just kind of shows us how did the composition of assets change between the 2 years of the company. You can see total current assets, the percent to total assets didn't change a lot. The components changed a little bit in that we've got less cash than we did the year before, and you can see we've got more inventory than the year before too. So those two kind of pop out. And then down here, payables as a percent of total liabilities and equity went up, and all those various things. So it's not hard to compute, but it's a very useful thing to know to be able to use. Same thing with the common size income statement down here. We take every line item and divide it by the net sales number. And so it's really nice to get this one, because what you can see here is for every dollar of sales, I have 427 of net income. For every dollar of sales, I've got 392 of net income over here. So it's kind of a nice way to think about how does that all work out. You can see I've got looking at those two numbers here, my percent of net income to sales went down. That's not a good ratio. So you can see the dollars went down between the 2 years, and that turned over to the percent going down also. So it's good. It's kind of good to see those numbers, and just to do that common size kind of just helps you understand the numbers just a little bit better. They calculate the free cash flows, and they go here and they calculate all the ratios down here too for the company. So what you can do is you can click on these cells here, and you can just see what numbers were used. So D25 and so on. You can just kind of go back up here. They came from numbers up above. So if you just kind of wanted to see how the ratio was done, you can just double click on these, and then the numbers are coming from off the screen, but you can go back up the screen and take a look at those too if you want to. And they show us the DuPont equation and then how that turned out for the company also. And again, they're using some formulas there to help us do that and understand just a little bit better. They did a trend analysis also, of course, which is always good to have. And they graphed that trend analysis too, which I thought was kind of interesting. Just another way to look at the numbers. So more just informational, and it's just there to take a look at if you would like to.